Hello everyone, my name is Sabrina and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different and talk about how I track my reading. So I know everybody has different ways of tracking their reading. Some people just primarily use Goodreads. There's Bookly, there is just way too many websites to track your reading. And a lot of people use bullet journals and reading journals as well. Me, not creative at all. So that's a no-go for me. But I do use two different things. I do use Google Forms and I use Goodreads. So I know a lot of people use Goodreads. I've only seen a few people on YouTube use Google Forms. I actually learned about Google Forms my freshman year of school because I had to do an entire class on it and use it to do a survey. So I was like, you know what? This would be really nice to track my reading on because it breaks everything down and I just really like it. I've been using Google Forms for a really long time. I usually download the form to my computer to save the data for later. Goodreads, as you guys know, it does filter it and put it into different categories for your yearly stats and all that stuff. So, but I like Goodreads because it kind of breaks it, I can break it down to what books I've read every month, the categories, the genres, and all that stuff, and the page count, which is a big thing for me. Without further ado, let's just get into how I track my reading because I'm sure that's what you came here for. So this is my Goodreads homepage. So it just shows over here what you're currently reading, how far you've come on your reading challenge, which I'll show you how to make that, books you want to read, and then my other bookshelf. So I have a want to read, currently reading, a read, and then a DNF. And then I have my little updates, so everybody that I'm following or everyone that I'm friends with, I can kind of see what they're reading, what they've reviewed, stuff like that. And over here are just some like little recommendations, news, and stuff like that. I don't really pay much attention to this. This part is normally what I pay attention to. So if I come up here to books, and then it will automatically go to all of my bookshelves. So what I want to see is my read or my currently reading. So I will show you my currently reading shelf. So I'm currently reading something to talk about by Meryl Weisler. So if I click on that, I can come down here and I can change if I'm reading it, if I want to read it, I read it, or if I DNF'd it. So usually if I stop halfway through and I'm like, I'm not feeling this right now, I'm going to move it. I'm going to add this to my list real quick. Sorry, it was like out of nowhere. I was like, that looks good. But if I decide like all of a sudden, I'm not feeling this, I want to put it down, I'll just put it in my back to want to read, not in my DNF, just because I'm not really DNFing it. I'm just kind of sitting it aside. It gives you a summary of the book, the average star rating, which is a 3.6. And then if we scroll down a little bit, it starts to show you reviews. It starts to show you your activity. So on October 23rd, I shelved it, and October 33rd, I started reading it as well. And you can make your progress here. There's also another way to make progress, and I will show you how to do that. So if you go up here to your picture, go to your profile. So this is how I always do it. Obviously on your phone, it's going to be a little different, but if I'm on my computer, I will do it this way to update my reading status. So you can go to here, if it wants to work, and it just update your progress. So this is how I do it. A lot of people do it differently, but so I'm literally have gotten like nowhere on this. So I'm on page 10, and you can write like, oh, this book is so good, and it'll just make kind of a status update. So submit that, and then when you go back to your home page, it'll show you your percentage. So all the books I am reading right now, there are 6 of them. I actually put my textbooks for school on here as well. Reasoning, I don't know. But I am reading Something to Talk About by Meryl Weisler, Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. I am actually listening to this as an audiobook. Love the speaker, the person who's reading it. I love him. He literally is so good at it. He sounds just like Joe, sociopathic. It's amazing. That's all I need to say. This is a geography book that I'm reading. It's actually not a textbook. It's like a book, but I just had to read portions of it, so I'm counting it. Play and How It Shapes the Brain by Stuart M. Brown Jr. This is also a textbook. Coraline by Neil Gaiman and The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. These are both books I have to read for my children's lit class. I haven't started them, but I did put them on my currently reading. And then my reading challenge. So Goodreads does this really cool thing how they do a reading challenge every year. So you can pick a amount of books you want to read, and you need to try to meet that goal by the end of the year. So my goal is 100 books. I've read 67, and I am 14 books behind schedule. I need to get my groove on. So you can actually come here and see all the books you've read this year, which is really, really nice because it kind of breaks down all the books you've read, and you can kind of see what books you've read. And especially if you're doing like a video at the end of the year or something, this is super nice because you can actually pull the covers from it. You can pull the synopsis. You can pull the dates you read it, everything. It's really, really, really nice, and I just love this breakdown. And I think that's it for Goodreads. Goodreads is really, 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 really easy to track your books. If I'm reading a new book, you literally will just go to search. You'll just go to search, and let's pick a book I want to read. So let's do The Night Swim. You just Google it or search it, and then The Night Swim, you can click on it right here, and then you can go here and move it to your want to read or your currently reading shelf. So that's Goodreads. Pretty straightforward. I love Goodreads, use it all the time. And you can make friends. So that's the best part. You can make friends. And I've been trying to make, oh, look, I have a friend. Hi, friend. Of course, I'm going to add you as a friend. But let's go to Google Forms. So Google Forms is the next thing that I use. This is kind of newer for me. I have just recently started using this in the past year, year and a half. I had to use Google Forms for a project, so obviously I started using this because I thought it would be a great way to track my reading. So first I'm going to show you how to make it. If you don't know how to get here, it's literally, you can go to docs.google.com and just go to Forms, or you can go to forms.google.com. Either one will work. So literally I have one, which is my reading stats. I try to put the book in every single time I read it, but sometimes I forget. So 2020 reading stats. So I just have the title here, and then I have books I've read through 2020. So you can break it down to little questions to ask yourself. So it's kind of like a survey. So my first one is my book title. So I'll write the title of my book here, and then my author. Next, I have my month read. I like to break mine down by months I've read it. I like to break mine down from months I've read it. So I could pick January if I read it in January, February if I read it in February, and vice versa. So next is age group. I've been trying to read more middle grade, but nope. I've been reading a lot of young adults, so this is like a bulk of my. So really cool things about Google Forms is when you go to here, you can change what type it is. So it can be a short answer, a paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, all this stuff. And it's really, really nice because for genre, you know, you can have a mystery romance or a classic mystery. And so that way you can click more than one box and kind of give it its own little place on the little pie chart it gives you at the end. Next, I do a Goodreads rating. So you know how normally your Goodreads rating and your actual rating isn't the same. I don't know if you guys do it, but I'll rate my books like a 4.5 or a 3.5 if I don't think they deserve the full 4 or if I don't think they deserve the full 5. Can you chill? Shh, be quiet. But my cat is crying in the background. I'm so sorry. But I'm like that personally, so I have my Goodreads rating, and then I can put my actual rating if I need to here. Next is number of pages. So I've been trying to read bigger books. I can't say this has been extremely successful, but this has been definitely something I've been trying to do is read more books. So I do have it under 50, and then we go all the way to 600 and plus. I felt like it was a little excessive to go over 600, so we kept it here. But I've recently noticed that a majority of my books has been 300 to 400 pages. So I'm not mad about that. I just feel like I need to push my boundaries a little bit. I don't know what this is. Apparently, I just added an extra one in there. I don't know. Next is format. So if it's a physical, an ebook, or an audiobook, I like to break it down because I don't always purchase my audio or my ebooks. A lot of my ebooks are Google Prime or Amazon Prime books that I get for free, and a lot of my audiobooks are my scribed audiobooks, so I pay the monthly fee and I can read as many audiobooks as I want. But with audiobooks, I don't normally buy them, so it's hard to keep track. So I like using this with a mixture of my Goodreads to keep track of my audiobook. And the very last one is rented or purchased. So with the rented or purchased, I like this because I read a lot of library books and I also rent a lot of books from Amazon Prime. So this way I can keep track. So yeah, those are all my questions. And then if you come up here to I, you can preview it, make sure it looks good, you like it. And then if you go to settings, if you go to, maybe it's not here. Where is it at? Oh, hold on. Where is it? Oh, send. You go to send. Ha! Oh, my brain. If you go to send, you can get the link right here. For easy access here, I actually have mine bookmarked. So I can just come up here to my bookmarks, and then I can just click on the link, and I can go through and I can add my book that I read and all that stuff, and then I just submit it, and it submits it to Google Forms. But if you come back to your Google form, you can go to responses. So this is the important part. So when you go to responses, it breaks down everything. So obviously the book title isn't going to do much for you, and neither will the author. But this is where it gets graphy, and I like it. Once read is broke down in a way that I really like. So you can either click over here on January, and usually if you highlight it, but it's not doing it apparently, so forget that. So if you come over here and highlight the section, it'll tell you the month you read it and the amount of books that make up that portion. So I read 18 books in August, which makes up 27.3% of my books read this month, and it'll tell you that for every single month, which is really nice. I really like that because you can see how many books you read every month. Obviously, May and June were very good reading months for me, but then August was insane. September we dropped down again, but October we're getting back up there. As for age group, I like this too. I've been trying to read more middle grade and more adult books, which, looking at my pie graph, I'm not doing very well, but I've read 40 books in young adult. This is just really nice to look at because I'm a visual person, so I like to see kind of what I'm reading versus the months I've read it and stuff like that. I like to see, oh, well, I want to read more adult, so I need to cut down on young adult, or I need to cut down on middle grade. So next is genre. So genre is done by this line graph. So I can see here that I have read 17 thriller books, which is the bulk of my books that I read this month, or this year, sorry. And then next is romance. So I've read 15 romance books, which obviously has been something that I like lately. So I really like this because it kind of breaks it all down with how many books you've read. Yes, there are 2 fantasy columns. No, I don't want to answer any questions about it. Manga's at a 0. If you guys have any manga recommendations, please let me know because I like literally anything and I just don't know where to start with manga. I don't know where to start. Super nervous about it. Someone please help a girl out. All right, and next we have the Goodreads rating and the actual rating. So obviously I have a 65 responses for Goodreads and 5 responses for actual. This is because I don't always fill this out. So if my Goodreads rating is the same as my actual rating, I'm not going to add an actual rating because obviously it's the same. So 55% of my books this year have been a 5-star, which never happens. I've been really generous with my ratings lately for whatever reason, but it's fine. I'm not mad about it, but I've not rated any books 1 star this year, which I think is a really good reading year for me because none of my books have been 1 star. And that's really something that I struggle with is my books being 1 star. I need to stop rating so aggressively. And then these are my actual ratings. So this is obviously where the 4.5, 4.25, 3.5 come in. Next is number of pages. So like I said, I've been trying to read bigger books lately. Doesn't mean I have been trying to. So obviously 54% of the books I've read have been 300 to 400 pages like I expected. Most of my books have been around that range, so I'm not mad about it, but I'm trying to read 500 plus pages. So over 600 was 1 book, and I'm telling you right now that was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire because that one's like 700 pages. And then 2 of my books are 500 to 600, so not mad about these statistics. I've read quite a bit of books that are under 50, but I do put my comics toward my reading goal, and I count them as a reading stat. I know a lot of people don't, but I personally do because I've taken the time to read it and enjoy it. Like, why not add it? But a lot of people think that you shouldn't, but I do. So if you do too, tell me, because I'm in the same boat, chica. Next is format. Like I said, I really like this because I've been trying to read more ebooks and purchase less books. So 33% of my books were physical copies. I have bought quite a few books this year, but I am trying to lean more to audiobooks and ebooks. So it's about a 50-50, which I'm not mad about. That's pretty good statistics, really, is it being a 50-50. So I'm really proud of that. And next is rented or purchased. So I don't know what happened here. So we're going to all ignore that. So it looks like 43% were library books and 57% were purchased books. So even though I'm not buying books right now, I'm still counting purchased books as books I bought and are sitting on my shelves in my office. And then library books are anything like audiobooks, actual library books, or ebooks, because technically those are rented and given back. So I count those as library books. So that is all the statistics you get, which I love. I think it's fun. And then you can click right here and get your responses, but let me show you how to get that. So it breaks it down, which is something I really like. I actually delete the column that says when you added them because it's useless to me and I don't care about it. So I just have book title, so it breaks down all of the books for you. It breaks down all of the books for you. So obviously this is where my comics came in. I read the Chilling Adventures series. And then I read, there was another one that I read, but I can't remember. And then we have the author, which Archie Comics is obviously my biggest one. Riley Sager will surely become there because I've been reading a lot of his stuff lately. And next is the month read, which I find very interesting because it breaks it by the month read. So obviously I've read quite a few books in October, not too many in September, a bunch in August, a bunch in July, only 4 in June, 4 in April or May, and a bunch in April. I don't know why the kiss quotient is down here. There you go. It's with the rest of May now. See, why is the Sundown Motel all the way down here? What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Better. And next is age group, so it breaks it down by age group, and then it breaks it down by genre, Goodreads rating, actual rating. Like I said, I don't always fill this out, so a lot of them are empty in this column. Number of pages, your format, and rented or purchased. So I'm really proud of the amount of library books that's in here because, like I said, I've been trying to read more library books. All right, and I think that's it. We have... Check my reading. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're gonna start using it this way, please let me know. If you know anybody who tracks it this way as well, please let me know because I think it's really helpful. I'm a very statistic kind of person, so I really like seeing my stats at the end of the year and how much I read and if I can beat it the following year. If you guys did like this video, make sure you give it a super big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe down below for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in my next one. See you later.